No, that was 7, 8. I could have cut it back on. That was 7, all right. But I just say be careful on where you're trying to get your fruit from.
I mean, I can feel if somebody is going in the same direction as me, even if they say some intelligent stuff. You can say the dumbest thing the smartest way possible.
Yes, sir.
I can feel intelligence.
Yes, sir.
I can sense it.
It is in the vibration. You know, I mean, everything is definitely frequency for sure. Like certain things, and that's what I love about it. That's one of the things that I really, really do love about the path is you're going to have a billion people faking. You're going to have a billion people fake it, but once you walk it long enough, you know an imposter 2 miles off. You can smell it on them. You can see it on them. You can feel it off of them.
That's why I said I was intimidated. Like at first she was talking, I was like, yeah. I mean, just the way that maybe it was just, I don't know how she said it, or she was smart, but I dialed it back down. Like, okay, I'm talking smart, but I'm not feeling it really. I mean, you telling the truth here and there. I don't believe everything everybody says.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean, if I know it, if I feel it, then I'm gonna receive it. But other than that, I ain't really intimidated by it really.
Well, if you feel it, that's another way of verifying it to me. Like when you say all the time, man, I ain't feeling that, or yeah, I'm down with that. You know what I mean? If you feeling it from the very jump, like that's definite verification for me, dude.
I definitely feel like you. I feel like you are me. You are future me. I feel like you are connecting the same dots as I'm connecting. You just deeper.
It's a lot of shards bouncing off the like. Once you break it down, there's a lot of shards out here. It's just some of them are reflecting a little bit more light back to the source. That's all. But it's just they're everywhere. They're everywhere, man.
Like I said, I asked God for whatever I ask God for, I get, and you are here. I want to know more. Like, am I going in the right direction? Here you are, deeper in the direction that I'm going.
Telling you go ahead, huh? Yeah. No, that's got to work out. That's got to work out. If you ask for it on 3 levels, you would get it. But maybe that's a different conversation. Some people don't realize that they're doing it. They just think it's what's the word for it?
Manifestation.
No.
Fate.
Damn, I'm forgetting the word for it. It's a certain word for it. Where a fluke. They think it's just something that happened by chance.
I don't believe in chance.
Exactly.
Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. Even the energy of good luck is a frequency. You know what I mean? Nothing chancing, man. And sometimes, like they say, you have to
half a mile, take the Missouri 9 South exit
speak in
toward
threes
Kansas
and
City.
think in threes. And some people don't realize that they do it sometimes. They might do it on accident, but when you get all 3 and they match one, you'll get what you want, and it'll be relatively fast, actually.
Real fast. I asked God for
take the Missouri 9 South exit, then merge onto Missouri 9 South.
Like basically, what's it called when somebody just don't? An atheist. 2 days later, an atheist talk to me.
Boom. Instantly.
I get answers. Oh, I was talking to somebody else. This is what I'm trying to do.
Let's go.
Because I feel like I'm not going to say. I feel like if I'm going the right way, I'm going to get an answer. So what I'm trying to do is basically manipulate physical matter. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm not going to say manipulate the spiritual realm. I feel like, I kind of feel like that, but I'm like, I just ask God for a question to get an answer. But I'm trying to manipulate physical matter. That's the point. That's the thing I'm trying to get to right now.
You need to learn how to manipulate the matter you don't really see. That's the first thing. It's all in wave format. Like if you can't do it with water, you shouldn't try doing it with something solid yet. You're not high enough. If you can't do it with heavy heavy waves of smoke, you shouldn't try doing it with something material. The things that already flow in nature. It's things that you need to base that on.
So I'm thinking it's kind of sort of like the avatar, like the people naturally have, like water bending principles, air bending principles, etc. Fire.
I don't know what they call them, but I know on this plane of existence, they're called affinities. You have affinities for things. You may remember them from childhood. You may get around them, and they make you feel a certain way. It's a comedian. And not too many people caught it. But it's a comedian, man. Real funny black dude, young dude just came out. He got on the stage, and he killed it. Right? And why at the end they were talking to him, and he was shaking something in his hand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the judge is asking him, he's like, man, what's that in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh, it's just a couple rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They looked at him like, what the hell? Why you got a couple rocks? And his answer was, I love rocks. They just make me feel good. He won. He won. They immediately pushed him through. Bro, he had a fucking pocket full of rocks. He was so into the earth, he reached in his pockets and he asked the crowd and the judges if y'all want one. He didn't crack a smile when he said it. He was dead serious. Now some people are more in tune than what they know they are, because they ain't never known anything past their geographical location. The environment often dictates the organism. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Become a part of your environment. Your environment becomes a part of you.
If your environment only does A, B, and C, you can only do A, B, and C with it. You dig what I'm saying? Now, you may be powerful, you may be knowledgeable, you may be all these things, but if your environment doesn't give you a chance for those things to be ushered into growth, you never actually know them. So yeah, he may know somewhat of the power that he's getting from these rocks, but until he goes somewhere else and really goes into those parts of knowledge and the earth where people practice said things, he can't get no further. But he knows where he's at right now. And I bring that up to say this. People are still born with it. There are people put inside the womb with it. They're automatically coded with it. They might not know it fully yet, and that's up to them to fully unravel it. That's when you got to start twisting that key. You just can't have the key and look at the door the whole time and think you own something. You know what I mean? You got to start unlocking, and you'll start realizing, like, shit, this ain't just the key. This is a combination lock. Well, this ain't just a combination lock. This is a couple different levels of a combination lock. It's a reason that many things spin
In a quarter
like that.
mile, slight right onto the US 24 East Rim.
Yeah, that's why I told you, I don't know if I told you, but I meditated and I felt like I could have known everything, and I was scared.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
So I don't want to be blinded by the light. I just need peace. I can open doors all
Slight
day.
right onto the
Let me
US
open some
24
doors.
East Rim.
Don't walk down a corridor that you're not ready to walk down. And you really got to know and understand what you're trying to know and understand. Like,
In a quarter mile, merge
Okay.
onto I-35 North, I-70 East.
let's say this. I say it just like this.
1,000 feet, keep left to continue on Bridge Ramp, Heart of America Bridge.
I met an elder brother
Keep left to continue on Bridge Ramp.
who knew somewhat of the things that you know, right? And he knows me pretty well. We were having a conversation one day, and he told me something to the effect. I know it's how old heads speak, but he told me something to the effect of, if I had one of your hands, I'd cut both of mine off. Right?
Yeah.
Meant it to the heart, right? And I looked at him and I said, okay, are you really willing to go through what I had to go through to get one of my hands? He couldn't answer. Now, if you feel levels of pressure, spirit, chi, power, whatever you want to call it. Once you really think about it, he thought about it. And he understood where I may be. And he knew he didn't want to do it. Now you got to ask yourself, hey man, I want to throw a fireball. When you get the knowledge on how to actually throw a fireball, you really want to go through that type of, or was you just capping the whole time? I want to be able to hold my breath for 2-3 hours. All right, word. That's dope. Are you willing to go through what it takes? Are you even willing to go through what? Not are you gonna do it? Really, really look at what you're trying to do and think about it. Am I even man enough for that shit? Not out of a pride zone, not out of a trying to talk myself up zone, but when you start majors in college, 70% of people change their major.
Turn right onto the I-70
They
East
thought that
Road,
they was
then
all
merge
about
onto
it.
I-70 East.
They knew that they was all about it until they got further enough along that path, and it was like, this shit ain't for me. Ain't for me, dog. So when you're looking at certain things, really understand what you might have to go through, because it's not an easy street for any of them. Hell, you're gonna have to sacrifice. You're gonna have to really get on your Hermes shit. You're gonna have to become solely on sacrifice. I am willing to give up. In order for me to walk the path, I will not hesitate to give up A, B, and C. A lot of people can't do it. It might take time for you to do it. Hell, you might be there now, but you got to decide before you start walking down that corridor, because there's plenty of those black tunnels that once you walk down too far, you can't come back. That's why you got those guys in the psych ward. The angels came to me, the demons came to me, and they're wrapped up in straitjackets. Okay, well, we'll literally pay a person 3 days out of a week to tell us the same exact thing, but in a business suit. And we'll give him a podium. And we'll give him, 75 more people for him to talk to. And we'll all listen to him. What's the real difference in between those two people? Think about it. The way they talk the same, they declare it the same, they're all experiencing the same phenomena, yet we only lock one of them up. What's the difference in between those two people? Appearance. You might already have some universal cosmic mind-blowing shit in your mind, but until you really, really ready to walk down that corridor, you ain't gonna be able to get there. Just like the infinite, bro, that's why I told you that. I know you're not ready for the infinite yet.
I know I'm
You feel me?
I know I'm definitely not.
You gotta look at the complete loop and decide if you wanna walk that shit, because infinite is everything that you're saying is overwhelming. Infinite is all the stimuli that you're trying to keep at bay. But bro, once you go infinite, it's gonna be constant that. You can't turn it off, dog. You can't turn it off. The eagles do not eat with the mice, bro. They eat the mice, bro. It ain't really no going back.